Hello everyone, are you able to hear me well? Is my voice audible? Yeah, good evening. How are you? How was your weekend? Okay, fine. So today we are going to continue with the same topic which we were doing on Saturday. Fine? Fine. Meetings in English. Okay, so if you are a host for a meeting in office or if you are going somewhere for a meeting, what all ethics you need to follow, we are going to study that. Is it clear? Fine. Whether you are holding a meeting, that means host, or attending a meeting, it is important that you understand key English phrases and expressions related to meeting. So if you don't understand, suppose I have arranged a meeting and you are attending it, and if you are not able to understand the expressions I am using, you won't be able to reply me, even if you know the answer, right? Right or not? Tamil, View and Rashid, is it clear or not? Yeah. So for that, so in order to understand the meeting well, the host as well as the participants, they should understand the business ethics, rules and regulations and phrases, appropriate phrases properly. Otherwise, the purpose of the meeting won't be sorted out. A successful meeting has no surprises. With proper preparation and careful organization, a meeting can run smoothly, right? So if you are already prepared for the same, it is going to run smoothly, right? And you can even save time like that. You will be organized. The most typical complaint about meeting is they run too long. So if something is running too long, then in that case, people will lose interest in that, and a lot of time will be wasted unnecessarily. So in order to conserve time, and in order to be in organized fashion, we should know the appropriate terms, we should know the appropriate terms related to the meeting, right? And we should also know what we need to follow exactly for the smooth running of the meeting. The most meetings that run longer than necessary can be very costly to a company or business. As the famous business expression says, time is money. So you have to, if you really want to be rich, you have to save time, right? And if you are setting goals and time limits for the meeting, you will never run out of time, and keep reminding the agenda again and again. Okay, so you yourself are able to focus and others are able to focus. These are the key components of an effective meeting. Fine? So this may sound simple in your own native language, but it is little trickier. See, if the participants who are attending the meeting, they don't have a sound English, in that case, what is going to happen? It would be easy for the other participants, because the success of the meeting depends on all the people who are participating in that, and if the host is acting appropriately, right? These pages will help you hold or attend a meeting with success. Review the vocabulary, read through the lesson, and then check your understanding. Now, I'll be teaching you in the form of a scenario. I will be teaching you the concepts which fall under this in the form of a scenario. Fine? Is it fine? Kashan, are you able to follow me? You are attending the class after a long time. You were not there in between. What was the reason? Okay, fine. You were out of country. Now, the following pages will be based on the meeting of a fictional company called Paris Tours. The owner of the small tour company is Piri. He has 10 employees, okay, including 4 supervisors, Anna and Thomas, guides. Nolan is the driver, okay, and Jane is the receptionist. So these are the employees who are working for him, Piri. These 4 supervisors will be called to a meeting to discuss the upcoming tourist season. Follow through the pages to watch how Piri prepares for and holds the meeting and how his staff participates. Fine? Now, first of all, we are going to learn the related vocabulary before proceeding ahead to the next level. Fine? Is it fine, everyone? Fine. Absent. So all these vocabulary is in accordance with the business meeting. Fine. It might have another meaning, okay, but when it comes, I have just covered vocabulary here which has to do with the business meeting. Fine. Absent. If someone is absent in the meeting, that means he or she is not present in the meeting. For example, the vice president is absent due to unforeseen circumstances. Accomplish. If you are able to accomplish something you wanted to in a meeting, then you were able to succeed in that. We have a lot to accomplish today, so let's begin. Address. If I am addressing someone in a meeting, that means I am dealing with or speaking on something. I hope we do not have to address this matter again in future. And adjourn. If I am adjourning the meeting, that means I am closing. Is it clear? Is it clear? Do you have any other questions? Is it clear so far? Do you have any questions? Fine. If there are no further comments, we will adjourn the meeting here. Agenda. Now, what is the agenda? List of objectives to cover in a meeting. So, if the agenda is clear, we can move in an orderly fashion and we can save time. Right? Please forward the agenda to anyone who is speaking at the meeting. If the agenda is discussed beforehand, if it is decided beforehand. Just a second. If the agenda is discussed beforehand, I mean it is decided beforehand, then in that case, no one will go out of the league, right? Because discussion is an infinite thing. So we have to, but still, knowledge, discussion, everything is infinite, right? There is no limit to it. And when we start speaking, we speak a lot. This is human nature, right? But since we have limited time, okay, we have to stay on track. In order to stay on track, agenda should be discussed beforehand. Fine. So this is the purpose of keeping the agenda for the meeting. Is it clear? Fine. AGM, annual yearly general meeting. We always vote for a new chairman at the AGM. Allocate, assign roles, tasks to certain people. All people won't play the same role in a meeting, right? So they will have different roles. So allocating is assigning them roles or tasks appropriately, as discussed earlier. Fine. Okay. AOB, any other business unspecified item on agenda. Apologies. If I am apologizing for something, item on agenda announcing people who are absent, apologies for absence. So apologies in accordance with the business meetings is, apologies are anyone who is absent in the meeting. Item on agenda announcing people who are absent, apologies for absence. Everyone is present today, so we can skip the apologies. Ballot. Now what is ballot in accordance with the meeting? Ballot is a type of vote usually in writing and usually secret to decide over an issue. And in that case, they go with the majority votes and no one discloses their vote to anyone, right? It is done secretly. Please fold your ballot in half before you place it in the box. Fine? Is it fine? Board of Directors, group of elected members of an organization, company who meet to make decisions. Now, the Board of Directors meet once a month to discuss the budget. Is it clear? Brainstorm, thinking to gather ideas. So if I say it was a brainstorming session, what does that mean? So all people were putting in a lot of efforts and mind to, like gather information, right? Let's take a few minutes and brainstorm some ways that we can cut costs. Fine. Now, what is the casting vote? That is a deciding vote, usually by the chairman when the votes are otherwise equal. Suppose there is a ballot. Okay, they want to decide over the issue, and both the candidates have, both the things have got, like both the candidates. In case of two candidates, if both of them have got the same number of votes, then then in that case, casting vote. This is usually by the chairman. Will decide who is the winner. The role of treasurer was decided based on the chairman's casting vote. So casting vote is usually, is that of a chairman of the organization. Fine. If there is a tie over in between two candidates. Fine. Is it fine? Prabha, are you able to follow me? How are you? Fine. Chairperson, the person who leads or presides at a meeting. As chair, it is my pleasure to introduce you to Mr. Alan Davis. Clarification. Explanation, prove that something is true. Understood, last thoughts spoken in a meeting. Before we address the matter, I will need some clarification as to who was involved and what is the closing remark in accordance with the meeting. Last thoughts spoken in a meeting. Fine. I just have a few closing remarks and then you all will be free to go. So if I am giving my closing remark for the session, what does that mean? That would be my last thought for the day. And in accordance with the meeting, it would be like meeting will be called off after that. Fine? Is it fine? Collaborate. Work together as a pair group. The board fell apart because the members had difficulty collaboration. So if there is a team and if there is no collaboration in between the team members, then the real purpose won't be sorted out. Work won't be done. Fine? Commence. That means begin. We will commence as soon as the last person signs the attendance sheet. Now, before we proceed ahead to the next thing, let's do one exercise. Are you okay with that? That is actually a grammar exercise. Fine. Now, what you have to do here, now, see what you have to do here, it's there on the board. Let me explain you what you have to do here. So you have to rewrite these sentences using, just a second, I have put the wrong one. Wait for a while, please. Yeah. Now, whatever sentence will be written on the board, it will have some error. It is related to tenses, past participle. Okay, you will have to rectify that. Is it clear what you have to do? Each sentence has got some mistake. Okay, you have to rewrite the sentence again. For example, I have written the article yesterday. Instead of written, the tense is wrong. I wrote the article yesterday because it is in accordance with the past. It happened yesterday, right? I have visited New York 2 months ago. So I have visited or I had visited. It should be, this is wrong, right? I had visited or I visited, right? So it's present part perfect or past simple. Is it clear what you have to do here? You have to correct the tense. Yeah, please solve it. Regarding second one, PO, can we write it like this? Annie isn't here at the moment. She has gone to London. If I write it like that, is it correct? Annie isn't here at the moment. She has gone to London. If I write it in that manner, is it correct or wrong? Please let me know in the chat box. She has gone to London. Is it correct? No, no, I'm asking, is it correct or not? PO, is it correct or not? Please let me know. She has gone to London. If I say like that, she is in London rather than saying that if I say this. Fine. Please do the next one. Hi George, you have joined a bit late. You have to solve this exercise. George, are you able to hear me? George, there is a grammatical error in these sentences. You have to rectify that. Please write your answers in the chat box. And once you are done with it, please type done in the chat box. Is everyone done with the same? Shall we proceed ahead? Okay. Let's wait for a few minutes. Let's other finish it, and then we are going to proceed ahead to the next thing. Mohammed Mahfouz, you have joined a bit late. How are you? Are you able to hear me now? Is my voice okay? Please let me know in the chat box. Fine, great. Now, let's switch back to this. Now, comment. Express one opinion or thought. If you are making a comment on something in a meeting, then in that case you are expressing your own thoughts or opinion about something. If you have a comment, please raise your hand rather than speak out. Now, conference. So all these vocabulary list is in accordance with the meeting. Fine. This is I am repeating it again so that for people who have joined late, they can follow what I am teaching. Okay. Conference call, telephone meeting between 3 or more people in different locations. Please make sure I have no interruptions while I am on conference call. Confidential, private, not to be shared. If some information is confidential, in that case it is private and it should not be shared. Any financial information shared during the meeting should be kept confidential. Deadline, due date for completion of something, right? The deadline for buying tickets to the conference is May 25. So once the deadline has passed, that you won't be able to get the same thing, right? If the deadline for purchasing the tickets have passed, then in that has passed, then in that case we won't be able to get it after the deadline, right? That is the last day for something, due date for completion. So suppose 14th of October is the deadline for something, for completing a project. So if you are not able to complete it till the deadline, then there is no, and if you are submitting it later, then there is no use, right? Designate, assign. If no one volunteers to take the minutes, I will be forced to designate someone. Formality, a procedure that has to be followed due to a rule. Everyone knows who is going to be the next vice president, so this vote is really just a formality. Grievances, complaint. The first item on the agenda relates to a grievance reported by the intern. Guest speaker. Who is the guest speaker in a meeting? A person who joins the group in order to share information or deliver a speech. Fine? Is it fine? Okay. I am delighted to welcome our guest speaker Holly, who is going to be offering some sale pitch tips. Implement. Make something happen, follow through. It is not a question of whether or not we are going to use this idea. It is whether or not we know how to implement it. Mandatory, that means required. It is mandatory that all supervisors attend Friday's meeting. Minutes, a written record of everything said at a meeting, that is minutes. Before we begin with the today's meeting, let's quickly review the minutes from the last month. Minutes in accordance with this meeting vocabulary is a written record of everything said at the meeting. Fine? Motion, a suggestion put to a vote. The motion to extend store hours has been passed. Objectives, goal to accomplish. I am pleased that we are able to cover all the objectives today within the designated time. Opening remark. Chairperson or leader's first word at a meeting, like introduction, welcome introduction kind of a thing in a meeting. As I mentioned in my opening remark, we have to clear this room before the end of the hour. And what is overhead projector? Machine with a special light that projects a document onto a screen or wall so that all can see that, right? I'm going to put a pie chart on the overhead projector so that everyone can visualize how our profits have declined. So are you aware of overhead projector? Have you ever seen it before? Please let me know in the chat box. I will show you the picture of our overhead projector. Wait. You might have seen it in your office or colleges. Okay, let me show it to you. Something of this kind. I have pasted the link in the chat box. Please open that. Please click on that. Yeah. Did you see it? Please click on the link which is there in the chat box. Are you able to open that link? Did you see the picture? Okay, fine. Participants, person who attends and joins in an event. Can I have a show of hands of all of those who were participants in last year conference? Proxy vote. Now, what is this proxy vote in a meeting? A vote cast by one person for or in place of another. Fine. So, if one person is absent, suppose I am absent at a meeting, and you are casting vote for me. Okay, in that case, it would be a proxy vote. There must have been one proxy vote because I count 12 ballots but 111 attendees. Only 11 attendees. So if suppose I have to attend the meeting and I am not there. So in that case, if you are giving the proxy vote for me, that means you are giving vote on my behalf. Fine. I am not present at the moment in the meeting. Fine. Is it fine? Fine. No. Punctual, on time, not late. And recommend means to suggest something. Show of hands. Raised hand to express an opinion in a vote, right? From the show of hands, it appears that everyone is in favor of taking a short break. Fine? Is it fine? Okay. Now, let's do another short exercise before we proceed ahead to the next level of vocabulary. Is it fine with you? That is a grammar exercise actually. Fine. So it will be there on the board in few seconds. Hi Ramesh, how are you? You have joined a bit late. Are you able to follow what I am teaching? Okay, fine. It is there on the board. Can you see that? The exercise. Now, wherever you find blank, you have to fill in the appropriate words. I mean prepositions. Is it fine? Is it fine for you? My name is Maria and I come dash Spain. If I fill from here, yeah, that would be correct. Yeah, go ahead please. Are you able to hear me? Are you able to hear me? Okay, fine. Are you done with it? Shall we proceed ahead to the next thing? Okay. Now, vote to express the expression of an opinion in a group by voice or hand. We need to vote for a new chairperson now that Jerry is retiring. And wrap up. This is the last vocabulary associated with it. It means finish. Let's wrap up here so that we can get back to our desk. Is it fine? Okay. Is it fine? Now, preparing for a meeting, first of all, we are going to learn about calling a meeting. There are a number of ways that you may call or be called to a meeting. Some meetings are announced by email, right, rather than in person, right? And others are posted on bulletin board. If a meeting is announced at the end of another meeting, it is important to issue a reminder. A reminder can also be done in the form of email or notice, right? So you can get the notification for the meeting on announcement board, bulletin board, verbally at the end of the meeting or through email. A reminder can be reminder can also come in the form of emails or notice. Verbal announcements or reminders should always be backed up by documented one, right? Fine, Prabha. The date, location, time, length, and purpose of the meeting should be included in that. So if you're sending a if you're sending an invitation for the meeting through email, you should also mention, like the everything associated with it, like agenda, what is the objective, fine, venue, everything related to that, date, location. So if any of these things are missing, fine, then in that case, the person who has been invited, he or she would get a clear idea of that, right? Is it clear? It is important to indicate exactly who is expected to attend and who is not. If you are planning on allocating someone to take on a certain role, make personal contact with that person. So if I want Prabha to take some role in a meeting, okay, if I want her to, like prepare the presentation for the meeting, then I need to have a personal contact with her, right? So that I can inform her on her duty and I can give the clear picture of what I am expecting. Fine? So this is a sample email. This is in case of when you get the invitations through email, right? To Jean at paristours.com. Then the email ID to all the people who need to attend has been mentioned here. From someone, Piri. Subject is meeting. Hi everyone. We will be having a meeting next Friday from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. in room number 3. All supervisors are expected to attend. The purpose of the meeting is to discuss the upcoming tourist season. As you probably have heard, this could be our busiest season till date. There are already 20 bus tours booked from Japan and 15 walking tours booked from North America. We are also expecting Korean and Australian tours in late summer. Please make arrangements to have other staff members to cover your duties during the meeting. Thank you, Piri. And sample notices, he has sent the notification through email. So this was the sample email and he has also pasted the notice on the bulletin board. Room 3. Okay. Date is this, time is this. For supervisors only, strictly for supervisors. Subject is tourist season. Attendance is mandatory. Is this fine? Fine. Now writing an agenda. In order to keep the meeting on task and within the set amount of time, it is important to have an agenda. The agenda should indicate the order of items and an estimated amount of time for each item. Fine. If more than one person is going to speak during the meeting, the agenda should indicate whose turn is to have the floor. That means whose turn, it should mention appropriately that, okay, this person is going to speak first, followed by this. They should chalk out everything properly. Fine. So that there is no confusion. In some cases, it may be useful to forward the agenda to attendees before the meeting. People will be more likely to participate in the meeting by asking questions or offering feedback if they know what is going to be covered. Fine. So sample agenda is welcome introduction by Piri and Stella for 5 minutes. So time limit is also mentioned. Fine. Minutes from previous meeting, Jane 10 minutes. Japan towards Piri again 15 minutes. NA towards Piri 15 minutes. Korean towards 15. So Piri is going to take more number of minutes, but he is going to discuss appropriately specific issues. Fine. In this, as it is aligned here. Australian Piri is going after Korean tours. Piri is going to discuss, if time allows, okay, for 10 minutes about Australian tours. Feedback from last year, everyone, 15 minutes. Vote on staff picnic, everyone. And questions, closing remarks, reminders, everyone, 5 minutes. Now, is this much clear to everyone? Are you able to follow it? I hope you are not finding it boring. Please let me know your views in the chat box. Are you finding it boring? Yeah, please let me know your views about it in the chat box. What is your view? What is your view? Okay. Okay, I'll go a bit slow. Fine. Now, allocating roles in a meeting. The person in charge of calling and holding a meeting may decide to allocate certain roles to other staff, right? Like in this agenda, it is being mentioned that it's not only Piri, okay, who is going to speak. There are other, he has allotted roles to other people as well. So when it comes to introduction, Stella will also be there. Fine. And Jane is going to discuss about minutes from the previous meeting. Fine. So different people may be allotted different roles. Like some may be called up to take the minutes, okay, like to write the notes for the meeting, and which will be distributed after the meeting to everyone, so that they can keep the track record. Okay, because it's not possible to retain all the information at the back side of our mind. So we need to have the, like written record of that. Someone may be asked to do roll call and someone may be asked to speak on a certain subject. This should be done either in person or in email. Fine? Sample personal requests. Piri. So, hi Jane. Did you get the email about next week's meeting? Yes, I'll be there. Piri, great. I would like you to put in charge of reviewing the minutes from last meeting for us. So Piri has asked Jane to discuss what happened in the last meeting. He has asked this. He wants Jane to discuss. Fine? Is it fine? Now, Jane, sure, I can do that. I think there is a copy of minutes in my file. Piri, thanks. You will have 10 minutes to remind us of what we discussed in the last meeting. So she is just going to get 10 minutes for the same. They will be good for Stella to hear. Stella will be our new private tours coordinator. Fine? Is it clear, everyone? Allotting roles. How is it being done in the meeting? Now, sample email to jane@paristours.com from Piri. Subject is, hi Jane, I just wanted to make sure that you would be able to review the last minutes of the meeting next Friday. we have a new staff member joining us, so I would like to give her a chance to see where things have been going since the last meeting. If you have any concerns about this, let us know. Let me know. So he has talked in person to this lady, Jane, but he has also dropped an email to make sure that both can have the track record of that, right? Fine. Now, how to open a meeting? Before we proceed ahead to this, let's do one more exercise. And then this we are going to cover in tomorrow's session. Yes, sure, Prabha. No issues. Take care. Now, let's do... Yeah, sure, Prabha. Thank you so much. Take care. For others, you have to solve this exercise. Choose the phrasal verb to replace the explanation in brackets. Please solve this. Fine. So we are done for today. Fine. You can solve this exercise and then I will be winding up with the class. If you have any queries or if you have any suggestions, you can post that in the feedback form. Is it clear? Hello. So it's time to wind up with the class. Do you have any questions? Anyone out there? If you have any questions, please let me know in the chat box. Okay. Do you have any questions? Anyone out there? Do you have any suggestions to make these classes better? Or you want me to cover something specific in class? Please let me know in the chat box. Yeah, sure. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye. See you tomorrow. And don't forget to fill the feedback form. Thank you so much.